Thank you for tuning in to the Wendy Inspire channel and for joining our Happy Being Me village where everyone belongs. So, no matter who you are, how you are, or what you are safe here with us here in our Happy Being Me village. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to make chicken and dumplings from scratch. Not homemade, because homemade means you made it at home, but I'm going to make it from scratch, meaning I'm using all ingredients separately, combining them and forming chicken and dumplings. So let me show you my ingredients.
Alright, so let's start with our stick of butter. We'll actually need 4 teaspoons of butter. We have sour cream. My favorite brand is Daisy. And we have our parsley flakes, our salt for flavoring. Let's not forget about our black pepper, our chicken broth, and this is actually a 32-ounce container, our thyme leaves, we have our baking powder, our chicken bouillon cube for even more zest and flavor, all-purpose flour, and our milk. I choose Fairlife because I'm lactose intolerant, so this is a great brand for that. We have our chicken, because it's called chicken and dumplings, so we need our chicken for sure. And we have 1 large onion, 3 stalks of celery, and 2 carrots. Alright, and we're going to have our other bowls and other ingredients we'll see later on, and our apple cider vinegar to wash our chicken. Alright, let's come over here. We have our cutting board and our utensils that we'll need. Our teaspoon right here, and we have our knife, our spoon, and our fork, and also a cutting board if you choose to have a cutting board. So let's get started. Alright, let's set this aside. You want to make sure that your area is nice and tidy. Makes it a lot easier. Let me set aside my 2 bay leaves because those will also add flavor. Put those there. And I'm going to peel my onion. When it comes to onions, my advice for you is to allow it to sit in the refrigerator the night before, because if you don't, you may cry. Alright, let me set aside my celery and my carrots so I have some space. Alright, and you can use any type of cutting board. I have a cutting mat, but I prefer to use this bottom portion of a cake container because it kind of keeps all of the ingredients together. Alright, so I like to cut it down in 4 pieces, maybe 4 fingers if you want to refer to that. And let's go down, and then I just cut like so, little pieces of celery, and I want to make sure that they're small enough to, make sure that they blend in, and also keeping in mind that as it cooks it will get a little bit smaller, but the celery is definitely for flavor. Alright, so let's get to cutting. My celery is finished, so I'm going to set that aside in a bowl. Let me clear off some space so I can continue. Place this in the bowl. Alright. Now we're done with our celery. Let's set that aside. And let's grab our carrots. Again, I like small portions of carrots. If you absolutely love carrots, you might want to have a little bit larger portions. As you're making your own recipe, you kind of make it just the way your heart desires. But I prefer smaller, thinner carrot slices. Alright, let me place those in a bowl as well. Clear off some space. Wow, they're overflowing my bowl. Oh, I'll discard that piece. And let me set that aside. Uh-oh, here's the onion that I did not put in the refrigerator the day before. I'm gonna be crying. All right, I like to peel it 3 layers out. So the first layer is the flaky layer, then I like to peel it 2 more layers out. So let me just peel the onion, and my eyes are starting to water. Ugh, here we go. All right, and then we're just gonna dice the onions. They don't have to be perfect, they don't have to be pretty. We just wanna make them small portions. All right, so let me just grab the little pieces that I missed and just dice them. And now I have my carrots, my celery, and my onions. And let's set that aside. Next, we're gonna wash our chicken. I like to have a bowl and some apple cider vinegar. So let's get started washing our chicken. All right, I'm gonna place the bowl in the sink. I'm then going to open the pack of chicken. I'm going to place each piece in the bowl in the sink, and we will prepare to wash the chicken. All right, a few more pieces left. All right, one more to go. All right, let's do that. Wash my hands, try to keep it as clean as possible. Now when it comes to adding an apple cider vinegar, I don't have a specific measurement, but I like to at least fill the very bottom of the bowl. Let me put a little bit more in there. Can't really hurt if you put a lot of vinegar. You just want to make sure that you thoroughly rinse it. The vinegar kills the bacteria, and it just helps to clean all the excess fat or slime or goo or anything that should not be on the chicken. The apple cider vinegar will help get rid of that. And we want to make sure we turn our water on as cold as possible. Warm water breeds bacteria, so we want to make sure our water is very cold, and then we will proceed with washing our chicken. And we're just gently rubbing the chicken. Getting rid of some of the blood or anything that may have, gotten on it from being in the factory. So we're just lightly rubbing on the chicken and removing as much as possible. Let me wash my hands again. And here we go. We're almost finished with that. I wash my hands a lot if you can't tell. Alright. Now we are going to fill up our pot of water. I like to fill up my pot about 3/4 full. I'm going to just fill up my pot, and we're going to get ready to boil our chicken. Our washed chicken, by the way. Alright, let's turn the heat up a little bit. Okay. Here we go. Chicken looks nice and clean. And then we're going to gently place the chicken in the pot. We don't want to drop the chicken in or it may splash. And again, the water is hot, and each time I drop another piece of chicken, the water continues to get hotter. So it will eventually come to a boil. So we're going to gently place each piece of chicken in the pot, and we're going to boil this chicken for about 20 minutes. All right, it's getting warm. Okay, it's starting to heat up. Set my timer for 20 minutes. Here we go. Let's see. All right, and then as you cook your chicken, there will be a white residue that floats to the top. We want to remove that residue. We don't want that in our final batch of our chicken and dumplings. So that residue that rises to the top, that's the extra things that we don't need in our chicken. So we want to remove all that. So let's remove that. 20 minutes have passed, and we're going to turn our stove off so we can remove our chicken. If there's a little bit of residue in there, that's okay. But we do want to remove as much as possible. Alright, so let me grab a fork and another bowl, and we're going to gently remove the chicken from the pot. We want to be careful because the chicken is really hot. There's a lot of steam, and we want to make sure that we have the bowl close to the pot. So that way we don't drop the chicken on the floor and end up wasting it. Alright, so let's remove the chicken. We have a few more left. Right. And we're going to actually use this broth because it has lots of chicken flavor, and we're going to add our additional ingredients to the broth that we already started. So now we are going to fill up 2 cups of flour. And we're going to start to make our dumpling batter. So let's measure 2 cups of flour, and we're going to begin to form our dumplings. Okay. Shake it a little bit, and it's close enough. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's close enough. So let's pour that in there. And now we're going to grab a teaspoon of baking powder. We're actually going to do a few teaspoons of baking powder. We'll do about 4. There we go. And we have our parsley flakes. And we'll do 1 teaspoon of parsley flakes. And these are semi-dried parsley flakes. You can do completely dried, or you can even do raw, whatever your preference is. So we'll do 1 teaspoon of parsley flakes, and let's see, 1 teaspoon of salt. All right, let me open this up. Just right. Now, salt is not required. There are some people who are not able to consume salt, so again, you can measure it the best that suits your need. Alright, I'm looking for a spoon. Where are my spoons? I thought I just had one. Oh, let me grab a spoon from down here. And then we're just going to evenly mix it. We want to mix everything, especially the salt. We want to make sure that it's not setting on the side, and we just want to evenly mix our mixture, and this is going to be used for our dumplings. Now we're going to add some milk. We're going to do about 3/4 of milk. So 3/4, a little bit more. Oops, I went over a little bit. It's supposed to be 3/4, so I'm going to pour a little bit more out, and we will proceed. And it's okay if you have a little bit extra. You could just dump it in the sink, no worries. Alright, and I think I have it. Okay, 3/4 of milk. And let me put my lid on and place my milk back in the refrigerator. And now we're going to do 4 teaspoons of butter. I love the fact that it's already measured on the stick. You can just actually count over 4, and that is teaspoons, and then just cut it. So let me cut this. Let me find a knife. I thought I had my knife. Where'd it go? Oh, I got it. And we're going to cut this down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to place it in my cup of milk. Going to place it in my microwave for 2 minutes. Alright. Here we go. Alright, 2 minutes. Let's rock and roll. Alright, let's take it out of our microwave, and we want to make sure that we thoroughly mix it. So we're mixing our butter and our milk, and then we are adding it to our dumpling powder. And we're just going to mix it up. Mix it, and you will mix it until it reaches the consistency that you prefer. So it looks a little bit on the dry side, so I'm going to add a little bit more milk. Let me add some more milk. I would say about a 1/2 cup more of milk I'm going to add, and there's my milk added, and it looks just right, and I'm going to place it in the refrigerator. All right. Now it's time to add our veggies. Let's add our carrots, and we're going to add our celery. And again, make sure that you're placing it in the pot. You don't want to, drop it from a high distance because it's going to splash. Set aside my bay leaves, and now it's time to add our onions. All right, 1, 2 bay leaves for extra flavor. All right, let's mix it up. You see the water's a little bit on the lighter side, but as we add our seasonings, it's going to get darker and it's going to become even more flavorful. One thing to add flavor to our chicken and dumplings are 3 bouillon cubes. So let me open the bouillon cubes and I'll drop those in next. All right, now we're going to add some salt. I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of salt. And again, you can kind of give and take. If you like it a little bit more salty, you can add more salt. If you don't really care for salt, you can add less salt. That's the fun of making it your own personal recipe. All right, let's add some salt. And now I'm going to do about a teaspoon of black pepper. But make sure you open the right side. I had it on the regular side, but now I'm pouring, so I'm going to open it on the side that has the larger opening. Oh, let me close the other side because now I'm making a mess. All right, and this is about a teaspoon, but you know what? I think I don't want that much, so let me discard the rest. I did about a half a teaspoon of pepper. And I'm gonna just mix it as I go. It's starting to smell good. Let me crack open my thyme. And about a teaspoon of thyme. I'm going to cook this on medium heat for about 40 minutes, and I'm going to mix it as I go. Stirring all the flavor. And this is a 32 ounce of chicken broth, and I'm going to pour about a little bit more than half and a little bit less than a quarter, 3/4. And again, everything is your own flavor, so I think that's just right for me. Now I'm going to shred my chicken. Some people like to cut their chicken, some people like to cube their chicken. For me, I like to just shred it. All right, so now we're going to add some flavor to our broth. And I'm going to measure some sour cream. I'm going to measure about 425 grams of sour cream. And again, my very favorite sour cream is Daisy. I love to cook with sour cream. A sour cream is not just for tacos. You can cook it with or cook it on in just about anything. So let me take advantage of my handy dandy scale. And let's see. My goal is to get to about 425 grams. All right. And let's add a little bit more. Here we go. That was 211. So now we're going to try to get to around 214. All right, let me stir this up a little bit. And all right, 214. Here we go. So I have my sour cream mixture, and I'm going to do about 4 to 6 tablespoons of flour. All right. Let me do my measuring. Here we go. And flour makes it a little bit thicker. And my turmeric. And I'm going to do about 2 teaspoons of turmeric. Here we go. It adds a little bit of flavor, and it definitely adds a really, really nice color. All right. And let's add our 1.5 cups of water, and let's mix it. Let me find something to mix it with. Let me grab my fork. And when we're mixing, we want to make sure that it is as smooth as possible. And we're going to remove our 2 bay leaves. Where's my other leaf? Oh, here it is. And just stir. You see how the color has changed? The chicken bouillon cubes, the flavoring, the seasonings, the color has definitely became a lot darker. So now we're going to add our additional flavor to our broth, which was our sour cream mixture. And we're going to make sure that we're stirring it as we are pouring it. And we're going to make sure that it's nice and smooth and it's nice and mixed. So I'll pour some and I'll stir it and I'll pour a little bit more. All right, here we go. And that adds a nice color and a nice flavor. Sour cream tastes great in just about anything. All right, so let me mix that up. And it's coming along really nicely. All right, it looks good. So we're going to continue to let that cook on medium. And the carrots and the celery and the onions are starting to soften a bit. Okay, looks good. It smells really good too. Make sure that everything's nice and mixed. And now we are going to drop in our dumplings. So I actually like to make little balls of dumplings. Some people like to just kind of take a handful or a fingerful and they just kind of drop it in there. I like to make little dumpling balls. So just make little balls and I drop them in. When the dumplings are finished, they'll rise to the top. I like to cook each side for about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. And let's continue to form our dumpling balls and we will gently place them in the pot. We want to try not to make a big splash. All right. So let me just continue to form my little dumpling balls and I will place them in the large pot and continuing to cook. The mixture is starting to bubble, which is great, and it looks like they are already starting to rise to the top. Then after about 5 to 10 minutes, I like to flip the dumplings. I like to turn them. And I like to start on the outward circle and then work my way in. I flip them over completely and then I allow the other side to cook for about 5 to 10 minutes as well. Wow, that looks delicious. I cannot wait to taste it. All right. Continue to cook that on low now. We're going to turn it down and now we're going to add our chicken. And again, make sure that anytime we're adding something in hot, any type of hot substance, we want to make sure we're placing it. We're going to evenly mix it. And now I'm going to turn the heat completely off and just continue to mix it. All right, perfect mixture. And it's really, really, really hot, so it continues to cook. Now I'm gonna take some out and I'm gonna taste it. I cannot wait to taste it. Here we go. It's really, really hot, and as the dumplings sit, they will become thicker. But since it's really hot and it's right out the pot, it's a little bit thinner. And it is so good. It's really hot, but it is good. Delicious. Let me cut open this dumpling and see what this is all about. Make sure it's not doughy inside. Oh, it looks pretty good. Let's see if it tastes as good as it looks. Here we go. It's really hot. Let me blow it. It is hot. That's really good. Way to go. All right, thanks for watching.